Mark Skaar on the Skaar Card on 103.7 The Fox. Proud to welcome Robin McAuley from Black Swan. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great, Mark. Thanks for having me on here.
Our pleasure.
Hello to everybody.
Yeah, Black Swan, Shake the World. We've been playing it for a while now. This is a great album. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're loving it. Broadsided by the amount of really positive comments we've had on it. Yeah, it's a good record. Can't believe that I actually did something like this so late in my career, but I'll take it. It's great. And some awesome players on there, of course, with Red Beach and Jeff Filton and Matt Starr. So in good company.
No question. Great band. So before we get too far into this, I want to ask you how you are doing.
I am fantastic. You're probably referring to an earlier infection.
Yes.
Speaking of infections,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing great. Oh my God, I was about an hour before leaving my home to grab a flight to Florida for the 70,000 tons of metal cruise with Michael Schenker Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And just a short story. My family and I had been out to church in the morning, came home, had a family breakfast. My wife was going to come with me. She went through the checklist. We have twin boys. And do this, do that, don't forget that. And I just very, very, very suddenly got extremely cold. And within about a 20-minute window, I was atop a gurney and heading to the ER, and a few hours after that, into an ICU unit. And excuse me, it seems I picked up the E. coli virus somehow, which became a bladder infection, which ultimately became sepsis. And they put me into a 12-hour critical window, which I didn't know till about 3 or 4 days later. I was in the hospital for over a week. And, yeah, it's. I thought you had to feel symptoms. I thought you had to, be down in the dumps or whatever you had to feel to see something, the onset of something. I didn't feel anything. I was perfectly fine. I've been talking to my doctors ever since, and they went, well, once you got the bladder infection, that's kind of what started the ball rolling very seriously, and then, of course, your system gets all poisoned, and sepsis kicks in, and I'd never heard of the damn thing before. I know what it is now.
It's very dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And anyway, with a great medical team and support of the family, I came through it. I was on very, very heavy antibiotics for about 14, 16 days or something. But I'm great. I'm back at work. I work a Vegas show 5 nights a week, raiding the rock falls. So I've been back since, I think I went back in February 1 after they gave me the clearance. So, yeah. And we just had speaking of Schenker Fest earlier, we had to cancel the Japanese tour. I'm supposed to be in Japan right now, but with this damn virus, God knows what else is going to come down the pipeline. It's
just weird times, Robin, right now.
Right? I know. It's like, there's a movie about this or something? I'm sure
Truth is stranger than fiction? Something.
Something, right?
Talking with Robin McAuley. Let's jump to Black Swan. How did this all happen? How did the four of you get together? This is a project of Frontiers Records, obviously. They do a lot of things like this.
Yes, they do. And Jeff Filton and I go back a very long way. Jeff actually was my best man 27 years ago this October. And Jeff called me and he goes, hey, I know the Frontiers has been approaching you about doing a solo thing and you didn't want to do it for whatever reason. Now they want me to put together a project because he had just put something together like the End Machine with George Lynch, etc.
Right.
And he said, Ford, I just came off the road with Whitesnake. I just talked to Reb because Reb and I worked together on a previous Dokken record. Reb says, well, if we can write songs together, I'm totally in. keep me updated. So Jeff said, I want to call you. I want you to do this. Please say you'll do this. And I went, well, who else is involved? He mentioned Reb. And I said, you're playing bass, right? And he goes, well, no. I have a bunch of bass players that you're going to love. And I said, well, why aren't you doing it? He goes, well, I want to produce and get involved with the songwriting, but I don't want to play bass. And I went, well, I might have something to say about that. And that kind of went on a little bit into maybe song 2 or 3 when we really got the ball rolling to see what we were actually going to come up with. Oddly enough, the first piece of music that Reb and Jeff sent me, I came back to them with a lyric and a melody, and Reb was in the studio. Jeff and Matt and myself, we lived within a 40-minute radius of each other here in L.A.
Okay.
And Reb lives in Pittsburgh, so he's, we weren't going to Pittsburgh, that's for sure. So Reb came in, and he was with Jeff at Jeff's home studio, and I came in, and I went, hey, you want to hear what I got? Reb goes, sure, dude. So I started singing it down, and he goes, oh, dude, I just love this. He goes, but really? Big Disaster? And, of course, we laughed about it, and I went, yep. And he goes, well, we can't call the album Big Disaster. And I said, well, I'm not planning on calling anything a big disaster. It's just, at this point, it's just a song idea. And that's kind of how it rolled from there. Didn't really think too much. I remember saying to Jeff, what is Frontiers looking for here? And he said, well, they love classic rock. And we went, well, that's kind of a wide gamut right there, coming in. And we just didn't think any much about it. Just whatever came up, we would format it like whatever we wanted to do. There's a couple of songs on there that are like 6 minutes longer, so we didn't care. We just wrote and we went, that's cool, next, And that's kind of how it went. And we all know what we were capable of doing, and they'd write most of the music, and I'd come in with Jeff. We would do a little pre-production, and I would go, I love what he plays here. Let's have him play it here, not that part of the song, and that sort of stuff. And
sure.
Jeff would say, change a word here and a lyric there and whatever. And it was a blast. It was a blast, and before you knew it, we had, despite the crazy scheduling of trying to even get us together, we had a whole album, and kind of ass backwards, we cut everything to a drum machine that Jeff had programmed. And, of course, we had 3 or 4 drummers that he wanted to bring in. But as time went on, all those guys became unavailable, for obvious reasons. Because, dude, I can't wait around forever.
Sure.
And the label had suggested Matt. I worked with Matt in the Rock Vault.
Okay.
And I'd done some events with him in Hollywood. And I went, oh, dude, Matt would be awesome. And, of course, they didn't sing on this record, but a lot of people don't realize Matt Starr is an amazing vocalist. I mean, that guy's got some great pipes, which we said we will definitely have him sing on the next one. And so Matt came in, and he really brought the thunder. He heard all the tracks of what was done, and he came in with some great ideas, and he just killed it. And it's a very powerful drum sound. Great production from Jeff Pilson, so kudos on there. And, so I just heard the other day, actually, I'm doing all the talking here.
That's all right. That's why you're here.
The other day that I always thought that it was somehow that it was Reb that came up with the name Black Swan, and apparently it was Kip Winger.
Oh.
He said, no, dude, you need to call it Black Swan. And, he pitched it, and we had come up with some names that were just god-awful. I mean, they were the worst names. I mean, I'm serious. And here's the kicker. Most of the names that we came up with that were so bad, they were already taken. There's some really awful names out there. And when he came up with Black Swan, my immediate reaction, of course, was, the movie, the book, blah, blah, blah. It says, there's no way we'd get away with using this. But the label did some research and found that it was actually available for a band.
Amazing.
There was a school pipe band or something, but they had disbanded and was never used after that. Odd, huh?
You got lucky.
Big time, and I think the band name really suits. Then it just suits the music, suits us. You know, we liked it, and we were stoked when we were able to use it. So it was definitely better than those other shitty names.
We're talking to Robin McAuley about Black Swan, Shake the World, and the title track was the first thing we heard out of the gate. And what a statement.
Yes, sir, and how poignant the state of the climate, no pun intended. Yeah, you know, it was actually, I think Shake the World was maybe the last song that was written, and we wanted something that was just like out the gate, come at you, and so they sent me this music, and I'm going, oh man, and it just scared the jeebies out of me, and I go, what do I do with this? You know, I can't mess this one up. And I just, it just came really quick. After that, I listened to it a few times, and I went, okay, I know where this is going to go. And I came to Jeff, and he loved the title, and he goes, this has to be the album title. And we fudged the lyrics a little bit on the chorus part of the song, just to make it just a little bit more firepower. Kept the title, and yeah, it's a pretty powerful statement. You know, people are going, dude, do you think you're going to shake the world? And I went, well, you know, it doesn't matter where you're standing nowadays. It kind of needs something, right?
Right.
And we can't do it unless we do it together, and we have to do it together. And there's you know, my thought process for writing the song was very much from standards I grew up with. And it was very, very simplistic, and I'm going, you know, I remember my mom, God rest her, always used to say, you know, if you make your way through life by just saying please and thank you, you'll be doing pretty good. And that's really what the premise of the whole song was about, insofar as how many people have just lost that element of respect and dignity, and nobody seems to give a crap anymore. And that's kind of how I started lyrically writing the thing, and of course it took a life of its own on by the time I'd finished it, you know, and now the rest we know.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's funny. Irony is a strange thing, isn't it?
Sure can be. We're talking with Robin McAuley. Probably my favorite song. Well, I love Shake the World, but I think Immortal Souls. It's just got so many hooks.
Thank you. Definitely one of my two big favorites on there, and funny story with Immortal Souls. When I was listening to just the music, just the idea before setting out on what the hell I was going to do with it, once I heard the intro, I just started laughing because I'm a big vampire movie buff. I love vampire movies, right? So I could hear this sort of howling wolf over the intro on whatever it was that Reb was doing with the whammy bar, and I'm going, oh, dude, that is just like really cool. So I come back to Jeff, and I'm going, dude, this whole song is about vampires, and he goes, okay. And I said, you didn't catch that whole wolf? How did he do that? And he goes, dude, how much coffee have you had? He goes, there's no wolf on there. And I went, no. There is a wolf. Listen, here it is. And he goes, well, if you say so, if you think that's a wolf, then I'm good with it.
That's awesome.
And the song kind of just stayed like it was, and I went, no, dude, it has to be about vampires. So that's kind of where that whole song idea came, and it's a great melody, some great hook lines on there. And Jeff goes, no, we need to change this, and then he'd go, no, forget it. No, this is great. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And it turned out it's one of my favorites, and we put a lot of sound. And I'm telling Jeff about, don't you know how fast vampires move when they're in a movie and you can't see them, and they've got this sound, and he's thinking that I'm like stir crazy or something. And I go, no, dude, you have to get into that vampire mode, and that's kind of the fun we had with it, And I guess my other is When Johnny Came Marching, because that's our young servicemen and women who come home feeling a little a little disgruntled, and things are not how they were when they left. And
shell-shocked.
Of course, where I live, I'm borderline LA and Ventura County, and not 25 minutes from my front door was the Borderline Grill massacre, which one of my sons was at the week before, and was actually on his way there on that dreadful night. And he got called into work, his college kid. A bunch of his college kids were massacred on the night. And I was in Poland with Schenker, and I got this text message, and of course, you're all that way away. Nothing you can do to lend your shoulder and all of that sort of stuff. And so that's where the whole idea came from for when Johnny came marching, and I thought, it suits the song, it suited the music, and we put all the marching drums in there and that whole end section. So anyway, again, I'm talking a lot, so.
That's all right. That's why you're here. Robin McAuley is here to talk about Black Swan, and I wanted to shift gears and talk about Michael Schenker Fest. Of course, you did 3 albums with the McAuley Schenker group back in the late 80s for the uninitiated, and then came back together a few years back to do a couple of Michael Schenker Fest albums. And, of course, this is a unique situation. I don't know if anybody's ever done this before, where they brought in not 1, but 4 vocalists from Michael's past to go through his history. What a unique concept.
Yeah, all Michael's. It came down actually 4 years now already since the first outing was Sweden Rock Festival. And when I got the call telling me that this was the whole idea, the concept behind it, I went, oh my God, this would be really cool. Instead of singing Gary songs and Graham songs, I actually get up there to do it with them. And do backups and all of that sort of stuff. Promoters loved the idea, and it kind of had a domino effect, and we've been doing it ever since. And as I said earlier, unfortunately, the Japanese tour has been sold out now for the last 6 months. And unfortunately, I'm sure we'll reschedule. And then, of course, in the next actually a month today, I'm scheduled to head to the UK for a string of Schenkerfest dates there, and then cities across Europe. So, given again the climate, that may change for safety reasons. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But the Schenkerfest idea is great. It's a 2.5-hour show. You would think people are going enough already. But people seem to like it. The venues keep changing as we keep doing it. He didn't want to start too big, and was getting a feel for it because, it's not everybody's cup of tea. But we do cover a huge amount of material, and it's kind of, it transitions you from, no matter which singer starts, through all of their, or not all, but a portion of their period. So it's very diverse in all of the styles that you get in there, including, Temple of Rock with Jugi. Yep. And, of course, Graham Bonnet never really, he didn't tour Assault Attack. No. He did 3 shows before that whole thing exploded or imploded. So it's new for people who've never seen Graham Bonnet with Michael Schenker, because they've never seen Graham Bonnet with Michael Schenker. So that's kind of new and pretty awesome. So also, very quickly, on the Japanese tour, which we'll pick up on again, Simon Phillips was coming out to Japan with us as an additional drummer to cover his period, because he's celebrating 40 years of Michael Schenker. Right. So he was bringing Simon out, and he was also bringing out Barry Sparks.
Oh, wow.
Of course, who also was with UFO. So, and also as an additional guest vocalist who guested on one song from the last record, Revelation, Ronnie Romero is coming out with us.
Who's now working with Adrian Vandenberg.
Yes, that is right. And I think Ronnie actually will do, Graham may not do the UK shows, but Ronnie will step in for Graham at the UK shows. So,
how is Graham doing with his back?
Graham is completely out and recovered
Fantastic.
from surgery that he had back in January. not an easy surgery, but oh my God, he rebounded, and I see that he already has a brand new all original lineup for a new Alcatraz that he's working on right now.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
The great thing is that it seems like the four of you all get along and you're all having a blast, and everybody up there is having a blast. There's like 8 people up there at any given time.
I know, right? I know. It's like a couple shy of a soccer team. you know that makes it makes it fun because everybody's doing their stuff, and then we all muck in, and we do the backup vocals when it's appropriate to whoever's on stage at the time. Michael himself, of course, you probably witnessed, who would never say boo to anybody.
Right.
You know, he'd play guitar. He walks up, he's yakking away, he even sings on some stuff, and they're going, what just happened? So, you know, the older you get, the wiser you get, or whatever it is, the people say. And it's a blast. And I'm a great believer, you know, leave your ego at the door because it's not welcome here. I can't work under those kind of circumstances. And I witnessed that when I do Raiding the Rock Vault, because there's such a revolving door of great players. And they come in and they have a blast. And that's the best you can ask, and it's the most fun that you can have, you know.
Yeah.
We just had Tony Franklin in.
Oh, wow.
For a bunch of UK shows, which was tremendous. It was awesome.
Yeah,
so,
it was unreal.
Yeah, and what a, you know, from a kid born and raised in Ireland to be up there alongside these amazing players is just, you know, my family are going, who now? Who is that? It's great.
Well, Michael's in my top 5 all time.
Oh, dude, he's incredible. I think he plays better now than he ever did.
I think you're right.
Statement. Yeah, he's just in such a good place, very positive, and he's playing like a demon. It's unbelievable, really.
And probably for you guys, for Gary and Graham and yourself and Doogie, it's a different kind of pacing. Rather than singing a whole show, you're just singing your era, and you're doing, I shouldn't say just, because I sing too, and I know when you're out there all night what it's like. But when you're, you know, it's a different pacing probably.
No, it is. It is, and you can get more done, I suppose, really. And the energy stays pretty consistent because you get that chance to pace the show.
Yes.
And it's I think it's a well-balanced show. Of course, you never know how long Michael's going to play a solo on Rock Bottom, so you might get an extra 5 or 10 minutes.
True.
Which is always good for a singer, you know. But yeah, it definitely works. You know, if a singer was to go up and do 2.5 hours, it's a very different story.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're a singer, you know exactly what I mean. And that again, it starts a whole new regime of discipline that you just have to know what you're doing. You know.
And your vocal work on this Black Swan record, forget about it.
Well, thank you. I don't know what else I can tell you. Thank you. It was a blast to record. You know, I suppose over the years you get to know what you're capable of doing, what your capabilities are, and I work within that realm, and that works for me. I write my melodies to suit me, and I know what my range is capable of doing. So once I stay within the parameters of that, I'm good to go, you know.
Good stuff. Robin, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the Black Swan record.
Thank you.
For Robin McAuley, I'm Mark Skaar on the Skaar Card on 103.7 The Fox.
See you on the road, Mark. Thank you so much.